I'll grab a couple of these. Are the clover bales from pasture 2 last year, and we'll take these. Oof, that's a lot of weight with them other bales frozen on top. Come on, girl. Boom, boom. There we go. We'll get these out to the mommy cows. It's getting close to calving season, so we're gonna start the old feeding in the evening trick and see if that works good for us. To be honest, I got questions about that, if anybody has experimented, because we never had daily feedings with the cows. We always had bulk feed, so you'd feed every second or third day. And when we were doing that, every morning you'd come out and there would be a calf. We still had early morning calving, so I don't know what to think about that, but whatever. We'll get these out to the cows. Now with that thaw, that freeze and thaw and refreeze, the bales all froze to each other pretty good, so you try and pick one out and you end up trying to lift the whole pile. Well, there we go. Everybody's happy and fat and fed for the day. So that's a straw bale right here that she's laying next to, and that's another straw bale right back there. That stuff is so soft. I could easily lay right down next to that cow and take a nap. That straw, so soft. I love it. And the cows, they eat a lot of it, which is great. So they got plenty of feed here, and then I put one dry bale just in case, because the wet bales now are starting to freeze, which when it was really cold out, they didn't freeze, but now they're starting to freeze. But so I put one of the retail bales I put here, and that way if they run into a frozen bale, they got something to eat. They're not standing here hungry. So yeah, everybody looks good. We're getting really close to calving, another couple weeks. Anytime after the 21st, we should start having calves drop. So we got to talk more about cows. We don't talk about cows enough. We got to talk about more cows. Well, reassembly has begun, and what I did was get it all gutted out, swing it over to the center of the shop, use the hot pressure washer, got it really good, and clean, then brought it back here, and then took air, cleaned the water off as best you could, and then right away, immediately, you have to get part solvent on there. Otherwise, with that hot water, it cuts the oil and it will rust overnight. So we have a siphon gun that will spray solvent. And so then you give it a quick solvent bath, and then take a magnet and dig around into crevices and cracks to get any little metal flakes that might be sticking in there, like back down there, and down under where the load shaft was, stuff like that. And then everything gets washed, and you go through, make sure you get down to Isani County Equipment. You get a free box of towels with a couple $100 of parts purchased for February. So get down there and make sure you remind the parts guys they made a mistake on something. It doesn't matter what it is, but parts guys love being told that they were wrong. And then give them a slap on the back and thank them for trying so hard for you, because the parts guy's job can be a miserable bugger. Thankless. So we got the transmission back together, and how your quad range works is kind of a neat transmission. So first off, you got a synchro on this range, and basically a synchro, you got these little plates in here that are going to act like a clutch or a brake, whichever way you want to look at it. And all they do is when you start to shift, it loads it, and they start to bind and help match the collar to the gear, to help the gear get up to speed of the shaft. So when you shift, you don't feel like a collar. We all know collar shift, you know, clunk. And so you don't get that anymore. You just push against it and give it just a little bit of pressure, give it a half a second, and it'll go, and then you can finish pushing, and it just helps speed match. So that's what your synchros are. So if we take, right now, we are in neutral right now, so you've got your 3/4 gear, your 1/2 gear, and your reverse. And so right there's your 2-speed. This is your 2-speed, so when you shift your lever from 1-2 back and forth and you get that slight shift in speed, that's that guy. So you got your low range, your high range, reverse, and down on the bottom you got your A. Your D is tucked under here, your B is right there, and your C is up front. I don't know if that kind of helps you see. There's D and B, and then C is tucked up front. And when you go to park, you can kind of see the splines there in the collar. When you go to park, it locks both A and C into gear at the same time on the bottom shaft, and that's how your park works. If we throw this guy to low, so now we're in low, and then we select the gear on the bottom, we're in B or D. Power comes in to the counter shaft. Remember, these gears and the bottom gears float on the shaft. The counter shaft is the only shaft that the gears are splined to the shaft. So power comes in whether you choose high or low. They're going to drive through, and then whichever range you get. So if I go, you can see my right hand, I'm going to turn, it's matching that pinion shaft down there. And if we go to reverse, now we're reverse, this is back to neutral. I'm going to keep turning my hand that way, but now it goes the other way. That's reverse. That's the whole point of reverse. Reverse is the only one that's direct drive down through A and then select your gears, or down through A, then back to the counter shaft, then back to your gear, where these go through the counter shaft to the gear, so it spins the opposite direction. So that's it for there. Next week, get the new bearings on the differential and get him in place, get our oil pump in place, and then I'll wash everything down one more time with the part solvent. Then we'll worry about 3-point and all that gobbledygook and the transmission cover. And then the brakes came back right there. We got new pads already riveted on. And so we can get our pistons and pads back in the bore here. And a lot of work left to do, boy. A lot of work. It takes time. For one, 200 box towels. I wouldn't be scared. If I was going to do this job with just pure shop towels, I'd get 5 boxes. And don't be scared to burn them all up. And then you're going to say, oh my God, them boxes are not very cheap on towels. And then I'm going to say, exactly right. That's why when you get your repair bill from your dealer and there's a shop fee of $200 on there, $100 went for rags just for your tractor. And that didn't include part solvent and all that other stuff. And so, yeah, got a lot of work left to do. Several people have expressed interest in this tractor, and that's kind of exciting. But yeah, we'll have her done up right and see what we get for progress next week. Got some more progress down in the 86. The little 3020 back there, he's washed up, ready to go. And